Good morning, everyone. We're going to discuss about ArcSight's interactive discovery module in today's webinar. To start with, I would like to briefly explain what the existing problems the customers have and how ArcSight interactive discovery is going to enable us to overcome these problems. The one primary problem that most users with ArcSight currently have is that the dashboards cannot be run over a larger time span. There are two major problems with this. One is because if the dashboards are run over a very large time span, then the resource utilization is very high and the ArcSight system goes down. The other problem is that we are not able to use the ArcSight dashboards to visualize historical event data. Now, ArcSight Interactive Discovery is one such module that will allow you to run dashboards against historical data and over a larger time span. The other major problem that can be addressed is providing contextual information in the sim console. What do we mean by contextual information is that, let's say we want to identify all the activities around a particular web server in your DMZ. You could create a dashboard to that and identify the vulnerabilities or threats around that. Now, tomorrow, as an ad hoc requirement, if you want to create the same thing against some other web server, then you will probably have to recreate the whole query in the dashboard, or you will have to recreate another dashboard. This becomes a tedious process. On the fly, if you would want to create such dashboards for your analysis and forensic investigation, ArcSight Interactive Discovery is one such model that will help you get to that. The fourth and the fifth point are pretty straightforward. I mean, it helps you analyze or detect relationships between events that you're not aware of. For example, an example could that be if there is one target IP and one source IP that is doing one target IP that is doing a port scan against source IP, then is this an actual port scan or is this something that is acceptable within the organization? These kind of relationships is something that you would not know without using an interactive discovery module. So what is ArcSight Interactive Discovery Module? ArcSight Interactive Discovery Module augments the existing resources within the ArcSight ESM, as in it enhances the dashboard, the reporting, the analytic, and the pattern discovery features. How does it do it? Is by using pre-built interactive statistical graphs. It also helps us provide forensic analysis and reporting capabilities as an add-on. The few key advantages of ArcSight Interactive Discovery is that you will be able to quickly gain insight into your complex security data. Obviously, drill down into the security data to see if there is any unprecedented control. Provide a persuasive and non-technical call of action, and many others that are highlighted there. Now, when would you use ArcSight Interactive Discovery is when you want to learn more things about your network security. Now, we understand that in your daily operations, the security analysts or the operators look into your network details and try to create anomalies and detect anomalies. Is there anything that this analyst has missed? Is there anything that is there within your network that you have not been able to identify? A typical example of this can be like a low and slow attack like APT attacks. These attacks happen over a large period of time, and most times you would not be you would not even know that your organization is under an attack. Using ArcSight Interactive Discovery and using the relationships that can be built within the ArcSight Interactive Discovery module, you will be able to detect new things within your network security, which you might not have discovered, or you might have missed them. It also allows you to strengthen the ArcSight rule base. We spoke about relationships. If there is any relationship within the system or within the events that you have missed, you can add them into your existing rule base, or you can create a new rule base to better your analysis. Obviously, visualization is a big added advantage to ArcSight Interactive Discovery. You can visualize data as in how you want. You can do it from an attack perspective, you can do it from a port that is involved, you can do it from a name of the event. You can choose what parameter you want to do, and you can do your analysis and visualization based on that. I will do a deep dive of understanding how this can be achieved in the demo session, which is scheduled for the second half. um, I am not going to cover the entire installation. This slide is only going to give you a brief understanding of how the ArcSight Interactive Discovery installation is done. If you look at the first half, it is the ArcSight Interactive Discovery module. This module can be separately installed on a separate server, or it can be installed on an existing console server. It is not recommended to be installed on a server that is already using some of the ArcSight components, because if you run large queries, then it can be quite resource intensive. ArcSight personally recommends that it be installed on a separate server. So all you have to do is download the uh, package, which is named as ArcSight Interactive Discovery 6.4.aid.zip. Unzip that package, and you will have a 32 or a 64-bit installer. Depending upon what your operating system is, you install that installer. There are two packages that also get downloaded. One is for the ArcSight logger, and one is for the ArcSight ESM or the Express. Now the ArcSight logger contains the report package and some field sets that you can input into your ArcSight logger. The advantage of this is that ArcSight has already determined some of the most important fields that will be required during analysis while you use ArcSight Interactive Discovery. You can add more fields, and it is not limited to using only these field sets that are there. But however, in my experience, I've seen that it is more than sufficient to use these existing field sets. You also have an ARP package that can be downloaded and installed to the ArcSight ESM or the ArcSight Express. This comes with default reports that you can run, which can be fed into the ArcSight Interactive Discovery. Now let's try and understand how this interactive discovery module works. If you can see this, we see that there are focused reports that are generated either from an ArcSight ESM manager or from a logger. This focused reports will act as the data feed into the ArcSight Interactive Discovery. And in the ArcSight Interactive Discovery, you can then visualize the Interactive Discovery visualization module that is there to visualize and analyze the data. Uh, when you start off, you place the interactive discovery project files. These have an extension called as the ADV in the interactive discovery system. These project files are then linked to another CSV file, which is the output of the focus report, either from an ArcSight ESM manager or from an ArcSight logger. The other advantage is that you can simply write a search query on your logger, export that as a CSV, and still link it and use it for your analysis with a ArcSight logger. As I said, it is recommended that you use the field sets that are there within the ArcSight Interactive Discovery module that comes by default, but you can always add more fields for your particular use case depending upon whatever you're doing. Uh, the ArcSight console is the host system where you can download the CSV file. If you're using the ArcSight Interactive Discovery on the same system on which you're using the ArcSight console, then you'll directly have to drop the CSV file in the ArcSight Interactive Discovery home folder under the ESM folder. There is a .ini file which is required to initiate. It's the initialization file which comes by default within that same folder. It has to have the exact same name of the CSV file which you're going to use to run the interactive discovery module. There is an AID schema event which has all the schema which you can use for your analysis and processes. Now, there are two key things that we'll have to understand from this is that the ArcSight Interactive Discovery module uses the ADV file and not the actual CSV file. The ADV file is only linked to the CSV file. There are no data that is directly connected to the ADV file. Now I will quickly move on to some of the views that are available as a part of this ArcSight Interactive Discovery module. The first one, when you log on to the Interactive Discovery module, these are a few steps that you create. You log on, you create a new project, you select the ADV file you want to use as a part of this project, and then you will be allowed to choose the CSV report which has to be associated with this ADV file. Uh, if you are a user who's having shared access with the ArcSight Interactive Discovery module, you can either completely export the project file along with the CSV file for the other user to perform his analysis, or you can have the CSV file stored over a shared network drive which can be used simultaneously by both users for your individual analysis. Once you log on to the ArcSight Interactive Discovery module, this is the landing screen. It's a summary view. Uh, all the analysis, it gives you a brief understanding of what is the event count per priority wise, event count over time, event names, percentage of event for priority list, number of events per attacker address list, and event count list. The purpose of this chart is to give you an overall understanding in terms of what are the high priority events that are there within your organization for that data set for which you're performing the analysis. Uh, is there anything that is malicious? Is there anything that needs action on? That is the first overall big picture. Aggregated sum over time gives you over a time period on which you're performing the analysis. Is there anything that you will have to perform analysis on? And obviously you have attacker details over, I mean, the IP address versus the total amount of events that you're getting, which will also help you understand if you are under any kind of attacks, or is this something that is happening. Is there an attacker address for which you are exfiltrating data from within the organization? Is this attacker address an internal IP or an external IP? If this attacker is an external IP, is he a blacklisted IP address, or is there known vulnerabilities against those IP addresses, and so on and so forth. So this chart or this view gives you an overall big picture in terms of understanding how your data is there within your organization and where your area of focus has to be. The second two screens will give you an overall understanding of the attacker's overview. The first screen talks about the attacker's zone name. Now, for you to get this screen populated, it is very important for us to have the ArcSight asset modeling in place, which will define different zones within the organization. For example, in the screenshot, we see that there is data that is coming in from the computer science corporation, that's coming in from the financial corporation, and we also have this user as a MSSP user. So we have different users within the organization that are sending in the data. Also, there are a lot of internal zones that are there. So which zone is more prone to attacks, which zone has the highest number of events coming in? If some zone has highest number of events coming in, why is the reason that that zone has so many events? This zone wise categorization allows you to understand from different pieces of your organization how the data is flowing in. The second talks you about the attacker host name against the total number of events. Is there any attacker host that is trying to do something malicious? If the first one has more number of events, what kind of a user is he? Is that an IPS that has more events? Is that internal system that is creating more events? Is there a bot installed on that which is trying to do some activity within the organization? These kind of analysis can be performed on that. The third one talks about the attacker port against a time range. Which are the ports that are being used at different times in the organization? Is there something that is happening in the organization that is not being monitored? Is there something that's happening within the organization that is happening after the working hours? These kind of analysis can be performed on that. The fourth screen talks about the different country-wise breakdown. Do we have any threat from any of the countries? Is there Am I being attacked from countries that I don't want to be accessed from, and those kind of information. This screen, the last screen gave Okay, the last screen gave us an overall understanding of the attacker details, but this gives us something more in depth in terms of understanding what is the zone, hostname, port, IP address, process, service name. This is a more of a broad picture. You can always create them and use them for your further analysis. Like we have for attacker details, we have similar things that we have set up for the target details, which are the next two screens that will be a part of the ADV file. So the target overview is the same thing that was done on the attacker overview, which is being replicated into the target side of details, which is the target zone that is there, which is the target address, which is the target country that people are trying to access from within my system, which are the target ports that are being accessed, uh, and then this screen talks about more detailed analysis of all the logs that we have in terms of target data. This screen gives you an information of both the attacker and the target data put together. The first screen gives us information about what are the attacker addresses trying to target my internal or target IP addresses. Now, these bubbles that you see there in the screen define the size of the attacker address, and the thing to the right side are the smaller bubbles which determine the target IP addresses that are being attacked. Now you can have more fields in this kind of a chart that will give you more information in terms of what is the name of the process that was being used to connect to these, what is the protocol that was used to connect, what are the ports that were being accessed, and everything. The second screen gives you an overview of different target ports that were accessed over different time ranges. Again, this is another important analysis graph to have. It allows you to, let's say you want to analyze all the ports that are being accessed over 1024. This gives you an easy clickable way where you can just click on all IP ports that are over 1024. Also, we see that there are port 80 that we know are standard communication ports. If you think there is something that's standard that you're aware of, you can easily click them and take them off from your analysis as well. The next screen gives you an overview about categorization within ArcSight. We know that ArcSight has about 7 to 8 categorization fields that can be used. Now, how do we use these fields into our analysis is what we're trying to achieve using these two screens. It gives you an overall understanding of what is the category device group that is generating the maximum amount of data. In this example, we have the IDS type of devices that are creating the maximum amount of data. Now, with this type of device, what is the amount, what is the kind of events that we are getting? What is the category behavior in terms of, was there a successful attack? Was it just an access? Was it just an authentication type of event? Was it just a communication? Was there something deleted? Was there something executed? These kind of analysis is what we help you achieve with this screen. Again, you can always add more context in terms of if you want to add a target IP to the same screen, you can always go ahead and do that. This screen, all the screens that we've spoken about is highly customizable in terms that you can add data depending upon the use case you're trying to achieve with AID module. It's an extension of the previous screen. This gives you more understanding about the target port category significance wise. So what we've done here is we've mapped this into a 3D chart against target port. Okay, so we see the ports on the x-axis and the category significance on the y-axis and the count on the z-axis. That's how we've done that. Again, something similar is category outcome versus category significance. What is the category outcome and what was the significance of that category that was there? Let's say, for example, we have category significance as a scan and the outcome of that was success, then that is definitely something that we'll have to look into, or that's definitely something that needs more investigation and so on and so forth. Again, time-based category again time-based analysis for different categories. Again, this is where we try to understand, is there any internal user who's trying to attack my system over outside of normal operation hours? Am I being attacked from external sources during off working hours, or what is the duration of time where I'm being attacked? If I'm not being attacked, what are the kind of events that the internal users are creating? This graph or this screen gives you an understanding of the overall attacks over different time ranges within the organization. The next screen gives us more context in terms of different assets. The first screen talks about what are all the high, medium, and high, medium, low criticality assets. These asset values are taken from the ArcSight threat evaluation formula. Now, again, how these assets are classified, what are the assets that are, if there's a critical asset, and what is the events that are coming from these assets? Do these assets need any kind of investigation, is what we're trying to achieve using these asset categories. We also map the asset categories against the business roles, as in, is this asset just an infrastructure asset? Is it under a revenue generation asset? Does it come under simple mail service? Does it come under a web service? Is what we're trying to categorize. Now, the importance of doing this, again, this is an extension of our asset modeling that is being used. In fact, this whole screen completely relies on ArcSight asset modeling to get in the data feed for classification and understanding of this data. Now, a very important use case that we have seen across some of the customers with this is that most customers are more concerned about the DMZ assets, what is happening against those assets, what are my vulnerabilities against those assets. This screen is just a click away. As in, if you today want to analyze all your assets that are there in the network infrastructure, all you have to do is click on that and you'll get all the relevant information. If on the fly you want to just say, okay, I don't want to do network infrastructure, but I just want to see what is happening on my web or email service, you just have to unclick it and then click on the web or email service. Now, this is where I spoke about adding more context to the data when we said in the initial discussions that adding context to the data is much easier by using interactive discovery. If you had to achieve this using the normal dashboards, then you'd have to probably create another dashboard, uh, create a whole new query and run that dashboard. And even when you run them, because dashboard runs in on a real-time data and that data is refreshed only for a fixed time duration, you might not even see what you wanted to see. So these are the key areas where ArcSight Interactive Discovery has a way better advantage than the normal resources that are available within the ArcSight system. This is, of course, the last screen of the AID module that gives you more context in terms of with the business roles, which business of mine is being attacked on which target port, which business of mine has what category of events that is happening, and is there something that is malicious happening over different businesses. that's what we're trying to achieve using the business unit analysis. Also, there's another screen where you can create, which I will cover in the demo part of it, where you can, which is very specific to MSS users. You can also classify which customer of yours has more vulnerabilities, which customer of yours has any attack which we have detected within the system. Um, I will quickly move on to the demo part of it for us to understand in detail. Um, okay, okay, so okay, this is the logins. I mean, once you log in to the interactive discovery module, this is the landing screen. As we spoke, the first screen talks about the overview of different data that we have. Just before we start, I'll quickly take you through how you start the project. Just click on create new project, and you will have you can either create your own ADV project as per your need, or you can use the default ones that are already available when you install the AID modules. For initial users, I'd recommend that you use the default ones that are available. But if you understand how different aspects of this works, then you can create your own screens, you can create your own tabs, and you can do whatever you want. It's like any other. It's like the ArcSight reporting module itself, where you can pretty much customize whatever is there, or whatever resource is available within the ArcSight. A couple of things I'd want to highlight. The ArcSight interactive discovery module only talks to the ArcSight output. There's if you just have a CSV file for which you want to run the data on, it does not work. The licensing for the ArcSight AID module is named licensing. If you have three resources that will have to use the ArcSight interactive discovery module, then you'll have to buy three licenses on them. Okay, so as I said, the first screen talks about the overall event count in terms of priority. So as we know, there are about 10 priority values that are assigned within the ArcSight system. You can click on them, and the entire data automatically gets customized to the data that you've selected. If you want to know what is going on, just hover over it, and you will be able to see the data for that. So this is the data that you've selected, and this is the amount of data that is there. The next screen, you can uncheck that by using this tab. Um, the next screen talks about the aggregated event count per device type. Now, if you look at this data, the sample data set that I have is for all the IDS type of devices. Again, as I said, you can, once you click on one of the maps, all your data gets aligned according to that. Um, the third one gives you an aggregated event count over time, and the fourth gives you in terms of category significance. Was it a suspicious event? Was it a recon kind of an event? Was it an informational kind of event? And everything. Um, the next screen talks about the different endpoints that are there within your organization. Um, this first one talks about the attacker zone name. This is where we have classified the default content into our network modeling, and that data is taken in from the network modeling. You can see here that there's some army info, there's some US department info, everything. Now, this is where you will start most of your analysis. If we come to the right side of this, this talks about all the attacker IP addresses that are targeting different IP addresses. Now, this looks a little jumbled. If you want to see something specific, just have to click on that. The size of this ball tells you the total number of events that have come, and the pointer tells you what was the end point on which it tried to do an attack. Now, this might not be informational. I mean, this information might not be enough for you. You'd probably want to add some more data, you can go here and you can click probably name of the event that you want to see, which you can add, and you can do more analysis on that. Again, once you see that, the rest of your tabs also get aligned. So what I will quickly do is I will quickly run you through how we do an analysis using the interactive discovery module. Now we have seen that there's this screen which tells me about a probable IP address that is performing a probable scan against a lot of my endpoints. Now this is an internal IP, so I have to be all the more careful. What I will next do is I will go to this parabox tab, which gives me information about what is exactly happening in my system. So this was a TCP probe attack that started from this IP address, used this port uh, onto this IP address. It was just an attempt. There was obviously no success. What was the kind of event? It was a recon. It used a scan or a service to do. So this gives you an overall understanding of how the entire flow of data happened. You can also create your own flows. Now again, when you see this, you want to see, I don't want to see the data that is coming around attempt. I'm just concerned about whatever was successful within my organization. All you have to do is just click this, and then all your data gets aligned to the /success. So now what are all the attempts? There was a access from dangerous source. This is probably a data feed from my repsm. There was a file infected and there was no cleaner, and so you have probably successfully quarantined the data. Infected file was moved and deleted within the organization. So if you can on the fly customize your dashboard, you can on the fly see data which would otherwise be very hard to achieve using a normal dashboard. So we come back to the old TCP probe kind of an attack, where we saw that it was just an attempt, but you still want to see what are all the asset categories that it took, what are all the events that it created, what are all the hosts that it affected. So these screens, the following screens, give you those kind of information where you see, okay, it was just a attempt kind of an event which was generated on my IDS device. It was a scan event. It was generated on one of my host or application, and this is the time duration on which it created. It was the category technique against that was just, it was a scan. The category significance against that was a recon, and it was done against this time duration, which is between 9:15 to about 9:30 in the night. If there are if the graphs are too big, then you can use this icon to maximize it. I think we are already at 100%, so you can use those. If you want to add more context, as I said, you can quickly click this and you can add more context to provide you a better understanding if this is not giving you the right set of information. um, So this screen talks about what asset categories were affected. This was affected. This TCP probe was affected on my security device, and the priority of that device was low. What are the services that it used? It was done on port 135, again on my security device. And who were all your customers that got affected by this? It was affected on my ArcNet devices, all the devices that were there in this customer. And what is the impact on your business over this? You can actually see the events that were there, and the overall significance in terms of business. And what were the services in the business that got impacted, and what is the final outcome of that? So this is a end-to-end analysis of how you start with the interactive discovery module. You start off by somewhere here where you say, okay, this is what I want to see. Now, what is the effect of this over my entire infrastructure is what you will be able to achieve using interactive discovery. Let's look at something similar. If you want to see what are all the external IP addresses that are causing any events within my organization, again, I take a similar kind of an external IP. What are the ports that it accessed at what time? what are the kind of events that it created. I want to see that. If you see here, it's using a higher port numbers, 6000 and 6501. It's using port 80 because all of this is web traffic. It has affected my this IP address. It is still an attempt. What did it do? It tried to exploit a vulnerability that was there, or it tried to exploit a weak configuration that was there within my organization. Now, based on this, you can go and drill down to see what was the actual vulnerability that was there. Um, you can drill down to actual vulnerability that was there within the system, and you can go ahead and fix that vulnerability what was detected within based on this analysis. Now, these are the kind of analysis that you will generally miss unless and until you have an idea that, okay, this is a vulnerability, I should have a condition which tests for my vulnerabilities around this. If you don't do this, then it's pretty much possible that you will end up missing these kind of information, and that is where we say that interactive discovery gives you a slight edge over any other product. Again, what are the products on which this one was detected? What was the type? It was on an application. It was an access kind of an event. What are the asset categories? It was detected in both my security devices. Sorry, this was detected in my revenue generation type of devices. So obviously this is a lot more critical to us because there is a vulnerability which is there in my revenue generation type, which is already classified as high. There is either a vulnerability or there is either a weak configuration that is there in my revenue generation type of devices, and hence I have to be more careful. What is a directly move to this? What is the business impact of this? Is what you will be able to see here. You can also drill down or drill up into the data that is there, which will further give you details into the event that was there. Okay. Um, I'm going to run this again. I will quickly show you guys how to, if at all you're looking at some kind of customization, how you could use the interactive discovery to customize the data. Example for this, we already have selected the data as this one, but I want to add more context. I want to see what are the name of events that are trying to that are being used. All I do is go here, click on name, and now you see that this attacker IP targeted so many IP addresses using this. A more contextual information would be this. So you can very clearly make out on a high level that somebody is using a TCP probe, is probing all my internal assets. This could be a scan, this could be a virus doing it, and this could be anything else. So this is how you add more context. If you want to add some more context in terms of business role, probably add that this is coming in across all my security devices. So you can always customize this data into however you want to analyze the data. If you want to create your own, all you have to do is these are all the various options that you have. You can create a pie chart, you can create a bar chart, you can create a line chart, and multiscape. What I will do is I will quickly create one such as an example. Let's try and create a heat map. What I want to see is, let me see the name, uh, attacker address. Let's look at it from severity, and let's look at it from priority. Okay, so this brings up a chart where you say this particular IP has this kind of event which has got severity of so much. right now because this is already selected. If you do this, then you can see based on severity, the color code obviously is extended from ArcSight. Green means low, red means high, and so on. So if you click on this, the rest of my graph as usual gets modified into understanding that data which is there in terms of the severity that we created. Okay. um, we can also add probably do a pie chart of aggregated event count over my attacker address. Attacker address. So you can also extend that in 3D. What is the event? So this is the IP that is creating the maximum number of events. You can create that and extend into a pie chart or a bar chart or however it is required. So that's all I have in terms of understanding ArcSight interactive discovery, how you can customize the tool, how you can use the tool in terms of customizing your data and performing analysis. We will take questions. If anybody has questions, please put them across and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so we have a question. Is this module an extra feature to be added on ArcSight? Yes, it's an add-on module. It is separately licensed. It has to be bought separately and used separately. Or is this available with normal ArcSight console? No, it is not. It is not available with the ArcSight console. It's an additional module that will have to be procured separately from ArcSight. Can it be added with any ArcSight version? Yes, it can. Because there is no dependency, as in it does not talk to the ArcSight directly. It is the report in terms of CSV that it reads out. So it can be used with any ArcSight version. Does it have a licensing model also, like how many users can this use? Yes, the licensing is per user. It's a named user license that you get. So let's say if you want 3 users to be using ArcSight in interactive discovery, you'll have to buy three licenses. Does it have a different console other than the ArcSight console, or it get enabled on the ArcSight console? It's a different console. As I showed, it's a new pane that opens up, and it's different from the ArcSight console. It is separate. Can we have this presentation or other than this to show its features to the teammates? Um, the, yeah, the presentation, we can share that, yes. Other than its features to the teammates, these features are, I mean, you can always use the data that is there in the presentation, and you can use them. All the customization that can be done on the product is already available on the ArcSight support portal. If you're not an existing ArcSight user, then this will have to be, you know, you'll have to probably talk to the regional sales to get the information on that. Okay, for the next two questions, we will definitely have one of the sales reps from Palladium talk to you, and the further plan of action can definitely be discussed based on that discussion. We have your contact details, and we will have the sales rep from Palladium get in touch with you. Yes, definitely. The presentation will be shared with you, and uh, as I said, based on the discussion, we can definitely help you with the further steps. Okay, if there are no more questions, we will end the session. I will give it another 1 minute time. If there is no more questions, we will end the session after that. Thank you everybody for taking the time to attend this session.